Yo, what's happening, y'all? What's good? Yo, what's happening, y'all? It's your boy Rilla with the fangs, Rilla W.T.F, Rilla, whatever you want to call him. But look, man, I got some great news today. Exciting news today. Because guess what? We on episode 2, man. Yeah, go ahead. Clap it up. Clap it up. Clap it up. You hear me? So we gonna get straight into it today. Tonight we got some real nice vibes, some real nice night prep, man. Night prep for the next day. Call it night prep because this is what we do that carry us into the next day. You feel me? So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna start a little project with y'all, show y'all something I've been working on, some of my sketches I've been doing, and we just gonna vibe. We're gonna get into a real nice topic. But yeah, we on episode 2, man, of Art and Chat, man. It's such a great beginning, but so long to go. You feel me? So we just gonna vibe out. We gonna get into this, and we gonna start this night prep. And I want y'all to just kick it with me. So let's get it, man. All right, man. So as you can see, we done switched areas. Currently in my room of comfort, room of choice. But we're gonna get into this video. We're gonna start off with today's topic. I always have a topic ready for y'all. So we're gonna start off with today's topic. And the topic, as I sketch this out for tonight, is going to lead into the next part of the video as well. So the topic tonight is going to be about transformation and peace. I know, two very intimate topics like the last one. But over here we don't shy away from speaking on, you know, the necessary things in life. I feel like, at least what's necessary to me. So we're gonna get into this sketch. We're gonna get into this whole thing, man. We're gonna have some fun. We're gonna kick it and just see what this whole thing here for tonight. You feel me? Once we done with this sketch, we're gonna save the rest for tomorrow and then call it a night. Even though we freestyle it, like I always preach freestyling it, but today I got a reference. Like I said, art is just about the flow, the vibe, and how you feel like going about it. So that being said, we're gonna get into this, man. Transformation and peace, man. It's such a necessity in life. I feel like, if you don't transform, it makes it harder for you to, grow as a person. And if you ain't got no peace, it makes it hard to live in general. I ain't gonna hold you. It sounds very typical as well, but the simple stuff, like I said last video, and like I'll continue to say, it's usually the things that we need to hear. It's usually the things that help us process life the best, because something so simple can be put into something so complex, vice versa. Transformation and peace is different for everybody, depending on your experience in this lifetime. And your experience in life in general so far. You know, some of us at this current point in life right now have a lot of peace within ourselves, a lot of peace about the direction life is heading in for us, a lot of peace about, the way things may have been going in our life so far. And some of us have the opposite of peace, you know, a lot more chaos, a lot more things to deal with personally. Doesn't make the rest of the community better than you. It just means that you got some growing to do, like everybody else, and take your time with it. No rush. Just make sure that you do it whenever time calls for you. Don't wait too long now, because you sit here and wait forever, you're gonna have forever results, in the sense of you're gonna be stuck and always looking up. Having peace is such an important factor in this lifetime. I feel like it's what brings us together with each other as well. It what brings us together with ourselves, most importantly. Being one with yourself is as easy as people make it sound, it's such a hard thing to do sometimes, because a lot of us, we lose touch with ourselves or who we plan on becoming. And this whole lifetime we have is to figure out who we are, and to transform, transcend, and just really make something out of this thing we call life. It ain't perfect. It's far from perfect, I'll tell you that for sure. But it's definitely something that's worth dealing with at times. It ain't always gonna be sunshines and cookies as well, but in order for us to grow and build our own perception on what this thing really is about, we have to experience new things. And through experience, we can transform, and we can, come up with better ways to do things and go about things in this lifetime. Personally, I find a lot of peace in, isolating, but not just isolating myself, but also, bringing myself around those that I care about once I've isolated. Understanding the balance and understanding that growth itself and transformation comes from, applying yourself in real life, applying yourself not just in your bedroom or, with people you're comfortable with, but overall. It's tough as hell to do, to be honest with you. It's actually really hard to do, because applying yourself takes repetition. It takes a lot of repetition. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of honesty with yourself to sit there and say, maybe I have been fucking up. Maybe I haven't been doing the best I could be doing. Maybe I want more for myself, but I don't know where to start, And just by at times, simply just asking yourself the question gives you 50% of the answer. The rest is for you to experience. The rest is for you to go out and, figure it out, but enjoy the process. Don't try to rush it. Enjoy the process, because one day when you get to the result, you're going to look up. My bad, y'all. You're going to look up and you're going to be like, you know what, man? It was worth changing for. It was worth doing something different for once. It was worth getting out of my comfort zone in order for me to actually better myself. There's so many different things that, we still have yet to learn to capitalize on and to, utilize as and just see as a form of betterment, a form of wanting more for yourself, and a form of actually, caring about yourself, so that you can transform, and that you can hone a lot more peace within yourself. Anybody can do it. It's hard as hell. Don't get me wrong. Anything that anyone can do does not mean that it comes easy at all. To be completely honest. But what it does mean is that if somebody can do it, that means the next person can as well. And if somebody hasn't done it yet around you, be the first. Transformation takes a lot of the time to analyze our environments and really realize what in our environment has been going right and what has been going wrong. And what can we do better to be different from that? Where can we start? It might not be completely different, but it's going to be something that at least takes you further than where you at right now. I'm trying to make sure the sketch come out like how it looks on the paper. I ain't no perfectionist, but I do have slight OCD when it comes to imagery because I love for things to come out how I imagined it, And a lot of times they come out better than what I imagined as well, and that also, speaking of growth and transformation, that's also a sign of growth, is also allowing your path to go the way it needs to go, meeting yourself where you at, you know what I'm saying? Always checking in on yourself and being like, hey man, like, you might have been moving a little fast these past few months for the time being, but where we at, man? Like, how we doing? Check in with yourself. Become your own best friend. Becoming your own best friend is such a beautiful thing. It's really, it's better than people make it out to seem. You tend to not fiend for unwanted attention and fiend for attention or want attention that is really not correlating with you at the current moment. A lot of us, we want to change, but we surround ourselves with the same BS. And we wonder why we're not changing. We wonder why things in our life haven't improved, And I think that plays a huge X factor in growth and transformation. It's, like I said, being realistic with yourself. We don't come super prepared. We just come prepared enough. Come with ourselves and the rest will do. You know what I'm saying? It's like they say, come as you are. You come as you are, we'll figure out what to do with the rest. Next to transformation, peace. Pieces. Man, that's something that, these are both things in life that, they're spoken about so lightly, but they're very hard to achieve. Doesn't mean they're impossible, but they're very difficult to achieve depending on where you're at in life, And once you have them, it's not about, oh, I got it, so I gotta stop now. I gotta just drop everything I'm doing because I made it. It's not a set achievement. It's a constant growing achievement. You have to maintenance it. You have to nurture it, You have to study it. You have to make sure that you understand yourself enough to know, like, at this current point in my life, these things no longer correlate with me and don't bring me peace anymore. And I have to be honest with myself. I can't be trying to do the same stuff I did maybe 2-3 years ago and thinking that it's going to work for me. And it's not. It's showing itself clear as day that, like, this ain't it, buddy. And to all my artists and all my creative people out there, when you're being creative and when you're in this creative mindset, don't allow what's going on around you to consume you as well. As an artist, you should use it as inspiration. You should actually use it as a way to, express what's on your mind and express your creativity, and understand that there's levels to this shit. Like, there's levels to this shit. Like, your environment may be not something that you can escape right now physically, but if you mentally learn to escape it, you'll mentally learn how to deal with it. Escape it in the sense of, like, deal with it. Face that shit head on. Don't try to run from it. Don't try to run from how you feeling or what you feel about it because those around you say, like, oh, that ain't what it is, or you don't run from something because you don't receive validation. Keep going and keep trying to find yourself throughout it. You don't have to run from it. Escaping your environment does not mean running from it. It just means that you have outgrown it. You're currently in a place where it no longer correlates with you. You're currently in a place where your environment is no longer you friendly, to put it the best way. And it's okay. It's perfectly fine. I mean, everybody goes through it. Everybody goes through it at some point in life. Everybody goes through a point in life where the person they thought they were, not who they are currently anymore. Not who they want to be, even if they are that person currently. And these are the beautiful factors of being human and having this type of mind frame and being able to put it to work. Growth and transformation really just takes a switch of mind. That's really where it starts, but not just switching the mind frame, but enacting upon it, treating it like it's there already, treating it like it's real, treating it like this is who you are at the current moment, and there's nothing else that could identify you as different. It's not a bone in your body that'll allow a soul to pivot you off. Believe what you stand for, believe what you've transformed into, and go with that. Shoot, there's so many negative things that we tend to run with and we believe about ourselves, and we're quick to believe it because we're like, well, this is an insecurity. I've always believed this about myself. But you got to understand, before you believed that about yourself and it was influenced into you and somebody made you think that about yourself, or you maybe made yourself think that about yourself. You're at such a point in life now where you've grown enough to acknowledge the fact that that's not who you are. Like, negative habits and negative things that prevent us from transforming came from a place and they stem from a root, but we tend to believe that they've always just been there, but the root that they came from, it was just as hard for you to accept it and to be like, yeah, this is who I am with that negative habit. And it's going to be just as hard for you to accept it doing the positive habit, because the positive habit, now you're in a more conscious state of mind. A lot of the times with negative habits, we don't even remember where they started. We don't even remember the root of them. Like, we don't remember half the shit that we went through to even get to that negative point and constantly be feeding ourselves that energy, But positive habits have a better effect on us, and you go through damn near the same process as the negative habit. You just don't believe it because now you're at a point where you want to change it and it feels much harder. You've been doing it for so long. A habit itself is hard to break. Doesn't matter whether it's good or bad, like it really doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, it doesn't make it impossible. It just makes it something that you got to work on. You got to transform with. You know what I'm saying? You gotta make yourself open to actually doing so as well, But yeah, man. Like I said, over here, we just vibe, man. I'm gonna give y'all a little insight into what I'm working on currently. I know it might not look like much right now. I have the previous sketch right next to me, so if you see me turning my head multiple times, it's because of that. But what I'm working on right now is one of my characters called Camo Kid. And if you don't know, most of these characters are animations or cartoons you see me draw. They come from my current series that I'm building called Kami Kid, which is based off of the animation I'm creating. I'm not going to say too much because, I still have a lot to work on with it, and I don't want to expose too much about it. But just know, every character that I create from this point on out, 9 times out of 10 or 8 times out of 10 has to do with Kami Kid. They all play a role, and as time goes on and as we all get to build as a community and grow with each other, you'll learn a lot more about them, learning a lot more about all these characters and stuff. But yeah, man, Camo Kid he's one of my favorite characters right now, man. So much that I made him last night. I decided to go get a canvas today. It just means a lot to me. He's not really like a emotionally tied story or anything, nothing like deep or nothing. But the name itself, I've been trying to find a character that would suit the name Camo Kid for like years, man. Like if people who remember me from back in the day, I don't even want to say this, but on Instagram back in the day in middle school, my name was Camel Boy on Instagram, So I always kind of wanted to dedicate, I always loved that name, but I changed it due to different reasons. But I always wanted to dedicate a character of mine with that name. And speaking of transformation, that plays a part in transformation. Like, I grew out of the name. I grew out of the name. I grew more into, Rilla with the Fangs. Rilla with the Fangs took me years to come up with. Rilla, the name Rilla comes even just from, and we're going to go down a little loophole on transformation just on my own experiences. Rilla with the Fangs and Rilla comes from my spirit animal. If anybody who knows me knows I've always spoken about spirit animals. I've always spoken of, what I think of them, and, just kind of a small way of just, seeing traits in certain animals that, I could relate to, and that I feel like my demeanor suits, and that I feel close and connected to. The gorilla was just one of them. The gorilla was definitely one of them. And the Black Panther was another of them. The bull was another one. To all my Taurus folks, shout out to y'all. The Taurus, they hate us, but they love us too. You know what I mean? But yeah, man. Yeah, I just grew into the name Rilla, and I stuck with it. And the reason why I called it Rilla with the Fangs is because most people don't even know this factor, but gorillas really are, the most dangerous part of their body is their fangs. I know it's hard to believe because they're so swole and strong and just like, very much like they could hurt you with what they got without using their teeth. And really, honestly, I like it because they use that as a last resort as well. They use that defense mechanism as a last resort. And I just mess with that so heavy because it's kind of like people who own a weapon or own a gun, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not just, anybody with common sense who owns a gun ain't just out there looking for shit unless you a part of that type of shit. But, it's your last resort of defense. It's your last line of defense unless you get caught into a situation that requires you to use it. I like the gorillas because they use their teeth as that last line of defense. Like, okay, this life or death. Like, I gotta kill you with my fangs. And they fangs are one of the strongest parts of their body, bro. That's crazy. Them so swole ass animals. Cool ass animals. Funny ass animals. Just, I ain't even gotta touch you. Like, I really don't even gotta bite you. I could just take you out of here with my hands. I could throw hands with you. And I ain't gonna lie. My whole life, the way I grew up, I've been on the same type of timing, man. Like I don't really want to get into it with nobody. But if I was to, like, you know what I'm saying? I duke this shit out like men. Like, throw hands. Besides that, that's how I transformed and evolved into the name Rilla with the Fangs. And I shortened it from Rilla with the Fangs to Rilla W.T.F. because I just felt like it was catchy. I just felt like, W.T.F. already stands for what so might as well just use the abbreviation and change it. So yeah, it became the whole thing. And then, I got my gold fangs as well. I got my gold caps, my gold teeth that I put in for most of the majority of my content and pictures. Tonight I don't got it in because, I'm just chilling. I'm vibing right now. I'm just in my room. I got PJs on, man. Like, I ain't one of them folks that gotta be in character all the time. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gotta be in just like media mode all the time, man. And mind you, like, we still a growing community. Like for the most part, even once we grow, it's still like I'm still gonna be me, man. I done been there plenty of times before. This type of journey is something I've been on from the time I was a young kid. I've always wanted to just, do something like this, document something, have my life kind of like, not on video, because I'm a very private person at the end of the day, but, just show the world what I want to show the world, to put it simply. Put out there what I feel like is necessary. And I always took the time with it. And I feel like now I'm actually where I want to be at. I feel like I've transformed into that person as well. But yeah, man, I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I'm finna lock into this piece real quick, and I'll be right back. All right, y'all. So currently, it is the next day, and just a heads up, we are going to finish this. We're gonna try to finish this. Not try. We're going to finish this. I got y'all. We're gonna finish this, and we're gonna try to knock out the background first, and then head into the main character, and then go from there, man. Yeah, we just gonna let the thing flow. We ain't gonna plan too much, Just gonna vibe and get through it. You feel me? So, with that being said, for this section of the video, I won't really be speaking so much. I'll probably come in and out. If so, if not, just enjoy it. Just vibe out and rock out to the end of the video. So, all right, y'all. We done got to the end. This the final product. It done took us a minute, but it was well worth it. As you can see, it looks very like, punkish type of bloody, you know what I mean? It look messy, but in a good way, you feel me? Creatively, you feel me? So this is exactly what I had in my head, and we done got it out. It's better than what I had in my head, actually. So with that being said, a real family, I'm gonna vibe out with y'all, call it a night, and I'll see y'all in episode 3 of Art and Chat.